couple of people try to attack my credentials, like demanding that I prove that I'm a physician. You think I became a physician and I do what I've been doing for 29 years so I can prove to you that I'm a physician? Are you really that stupid?
Good. Twice the pride, double the fall.
No, I'm not here to prove anything. Anybody with half a brain, not even full brain, just half of a brain, knows that they can Google my name in the medical board sites.
Oh, sugar. You just gone and done the dumbest thing in your whole life.
You know, recently there's been a lot of folks around saying how deadly it is to wear a mask during a pandemic, like how it can really, really damage your health. Then there are people like me who debunk that crap using fairly simple science, for which I recently had the honour of having my video deleted by YouTube. Bravo, YouTube. The virus is very grateful. So I edited that video and uploaded it again, and YouTube deleted it again. Seems like debunking people saying masks are dangerous is classified as spreading disinformation on the coronavirus. Meanwhile, this guy's video is still up.
So how long are you going to allow idiocy to continue? And when somebody tells you to wear a face mask, you need to tell them to back the hell up. If you're stupid enough to wear a face mask, then you wear a face mask. But I am not going to partake in your idiocy. Just because you're stupid, that doesn't make it an obligation on my part to follow in your stupidity and hurt myself.
Now, if you thought the Ohio representative got it hard, well, that's what you might have thought had you actually seen my deleted video, then you ain't seen nothing yet. This guy's going to get special treatment because he's a real doctor.
Remember this, if you wear a face mask, you are restricting your oxygen, you are increasing the amount of carbon dioxide that you're breathing back. The face masks themselves, they've already done studies on the face mask and you're breathing in the same stuff in and out, so there's actually an increased amount of bacteria that accumulates from what you're breathing. The condensation from your breath is breaking down the polypropylene components of the face mask.
Yeah, I'm going to have to push X to doubt there. You see, first of all, polypropylene is one of the least reactive polymers known to man. I mean, hell, I used to handle sodium-potassium alloy in polypropylene, polyethylene type syringes. And just so we're clear, sodium-potassium alloy is fairly reactive stuff. And just so you know, polyethylene and polypropylene are virtually identical in terms of their chemical resistance.
Two glasses here, one both with polypropylene syringes in, or polyethylene / polypropylene. In the first one I'm going to put some concentrated sulfuric acid. Goopy stuff. Ugh. Sulfuric acid's got almost no vapor pressure whatsoever, but as you can see, vigorously reacts with the polyethylene / polypropylene syringes. How do you know this is actually concentrated sulfuric acid in there? Well, if you put it onto sugar here, let's just put a ml in there, leave it at that, see what happens. And whilst that's happily stewing away, in the meanwhile, this one is concentrated hydrochloric acid, which is pretty evil stuff, and this usually fumes like crazy. Oh god, that stinks. Oh man. Concentrated hydrochloric, as you can see, also vigorously reacts with I'm going to put a little in that. That smells pretty bad. Oh, but how do we know that that's actually concentrated hydrochloric? Well, if I get some aluminium and stick my aluminium in there, you will see. We give it a few seconds. It starts to fizz out pretty well. There you go. That's what that'll do to aluminium. Meanwhile, if you take a look at what's happening with the sugar, it'll get much worse than that actually if this gets hot. We have here one of the most evil things of the lot. This is very concentrated, 45% by weight, potassium hydroxide solution. If you try and keep this in a glass bottle, it'll actually just eat through the glass bottle. And guess what it's actually shipped in? There we go. High density polyethylene. Now for those holding out some hope that, but you didn't show it not reacting with water. Well, here we have a guy for watering plants made of polypropylene and high density polyethylene.
So there is absolutely no way that the humidity from your breath, the water from your breath, is going to react with the polypropylene in the face mask. And only someone who is completely chemically illiterate would suggest it.
The condensation from your breath is breaking down the polypropylene components of the face mask, and then you're breathing in those toxic components and creating a histotoxic hypoxic injury.
Ooh, what was that? Histotoxic hypoxia. The inability of cells to take up and use oxygen from the bloodstream, despite physiological normal levels of oxygen to cells such as tissue. In other words, he's not talking about there not being enough oxygen in your body. Now, this is even if there is plenty of oxygen in your body, but your body is still being poisoned by things like cyanide inhibiting your cell metabolism. This has nothing to do with wearing a mask.
The condensation from your breath is breaking down the polypropylene components of the face mask, and then you're breathing in those toxic components and creating a histotoxic hypoxic injury.
Yeah, seems like our good Rashid here genuinely fears that the reaction of water with polypropylene will poison you like cyanide. And these are fears that would be perfectly well founded if we lived in Bizarro universe. Yes, and his video is still happily up here on YouTube. Dr. Rashid Buttar, what face masks actually do to your health, with 250,000 hits, and the first bloody comment, is someone claiming that they did what was in the last video that I debunked, that when you, what's he saying? I've tested oxygen levels with and without a cloth face mask and an OSHA-approved industrial air monitor. Without the mask, it was 25%, which is normal. When I put the mask on, the oxygen levels under the mask immediately dropped to 17.5%, which is normal for exhaled hair. This is a dangerous level. If I was in a confined space, I would be immediately required to evacuate. People, please, I beg you, wake up from this fraud, please. Well, YouTube, thanks to your diligent actions, the video that shows in detail why this is bullshit was deleted by YouTube. But whatever, I've had enough of our doctor here. Let's take him up on his offer, shall we?
A couple of people try to attack my credentials, like demanding that I prove that I'm a physician. You think I became a physician and I do what I've been doing for 29 years so I can prove to you that I'm a physician? Are you really that stupid? No, I'm not here to prove anything. Anybody with half a brain, not even full brain, just half of a brain, knows that they can Google my name in the medical board sites.
Oh, sugar. You just gone and done the dumbest thing in your whole life.
Yeah, let's look him up on Google and see what comes up. Rashid Buttar is an American osteopathic physician. That's a type of alternative medicine that emphasizes physical manipulation of muscles and bones. He's a quack. Conspiracy theorist, anti-vaccine proponent from Charlotte, North Carolina.
A couple of people try to attack my credentials, like demanding that I prove that I'm a physician.
He's known for his controversial use of chelation therapy for numerous conditions, including autism and cancer. Yeah. He's been twice reprimanded by the North Carolina Board of Medical Examiners for unprofessional conduct and cited by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for illegal marketing of unapproved and adulterated drugs. And USA Today, Case Watch, Bloomberg Law.
And you think I became a physician and I do what I've been doing for 29 years so I can prove to you that I'm a physician? Are you really that stupid?
Oh, sugar.
Buttar claims to be board certified by several entities, all of which are listed as questionable by Quackwatch, including the American Academy of Preventative Medicine.
So there's absurdity on top of absurdity on top of absurdity.
In 2007, Buttar was brought before the North Carolina Board of Medical Examiners, accused of unprofessional conduct and providing ineffectual therapies to 4 cancer patients. 3 of those patients later died.
Anybody with half a brain, not even full brain, just half of a brain,
So now it's getting real. He's not just us a harmless quack here.
knows that they can Google my name in the medical board sites.
Following public hearings in 2008, a panel recommended that Buttar's license be suspended indefinitely and that he be prohibited from treating children or patients with cancer, but stayed the decision, ultimately giving Buttar a formal reprimand in 2010 while allowing him to continue to practice.
I'm going to challenge you to ask the question, why?
Buttar has been criticized for his use of chelation therapies, such as topical creams containing chelators to treat children with autism, and his use of intravenous hydrogen peroxide and EDTA to treat cancer. Now, hydrogen peroxide, by its action, is bleach, so he's treating cancer by injecting people with bleach. In 2009, Buttar and his wife Debbie achieved the rank of Blue Diamond with the distributor network of the multi-level marketing company. Of course, they get into it somewhere, Monavie. In 2010, the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, sent Buttar a warning letter for illegally marketing unapproved topical creams as drugs via his website, YouTube videos, and radio appearances. FDA also revealed that Buttar's company had not complied with good manufacturing practice and that his products were adulterated, according to the FDA.
Wait a second. Let's start using our brain. God gave every one of us a brain.
In 2011, as a result of his disciplinary action in North Carolina, the Hawaiian Medical Board denied Buttar a medical license. And this is the guy claiming that no one should have the right to question his amazing ability to be a doctor.
Where's the logic in that? I think that's a classification of dumbass. And I don't know how else to say it because it's just pure idiocy.
In 2019, the North Carolina Medical Board disciplined Buttar after receiving 2 complaints. In one case, a physician was worried that Buttar's treatment of the cancer patient hindered appropriate treatment and increased the patient's pain and suffering. During the 2019 coronavirus pandemic, a series of videos featured Buttar were posted to YouTube by the fake news website Next News Network, in which Buttar advanced the conspiracy theory claiming that the National Institute for Allergies and Infectious Diseases Director Anthony Fauci research helped create COVID-19, as well as numerous other false claims, such as 5G and chemtrails cause COVID-19. YouTube removed the videos, but apparently is now happy that he's got his own YouTube posting videos with 250,000 views on this stuff, whilst deleting videos that debunk this crap. Bravo, YouTube. Bravo. Now, having established the sort of guy that we're dealing with, let's just see how much stunning projection there is in this guy.
It's the most absurd thing. It's, again, creating havoc, trying to create havoc. They're getting in, they see 30,000, 40,000 views off a post that's made, or 100,000 views, or 200,000 views of a video, or whatever the case is. And so they want to create discourse. They want to create doubt.
Yeah, right. Okay. So let me see if I've got this straight. Everyone else telling you that masks will keep you safe, they're the ones sowing fear and doubt, while he telling you that masks will poison you.
Get your kids out of the state of fear. This is ridiculous what we're doing to our next generation.
He's the one sowing truth and tranquility.
And then you're breathing in those toxic components and creating a histotoxic hypoxic injury. They want to create fear. And so they try to go in there and they see this. And these are paid people.
So, what's that? You can't trust people with financial conflicts of interest coming from Mr. Multi-Level Marketing here.
And so they try to go in there and they see this. And these are paid people.
Meanwhile, this is the guy telling you not to take the advice of people with a financial interest. Before the North Carolina Medical Board, Rashid Ali Buttar. Dr. Buttar charged exorbitant fees for his ineffectual therapies. The total cost of the intravenous injections and other therapies for these cancer patients at times ranged in the thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. Not only would Dr. Buttar order and administer unproven and ineffectual therapies for patients A, B, and C in an attempt to drive up his billing,
A lot of people that are in positions of authority that have completely either never had any integrity or have lost their integrity.
he would also order numerous tests and lab work for these patients that had no rational medical relationship to the patient's cancer diagnosis. Moreover, many tests and lab work that were ordered by Dr. Buttar were never adequately justified in the medical records of the patients, were never linked to the patient's diagnosis or clinical condition, and in some instances were never interpreted.
And any person who challenges that, because there are doctors that are arguing with it, besides just being idiots and being liars, you've already compromised your integrity. How do you sleep at night?
There is no evidence that any of the extensive and expensive laboratory data obtained on patients A, B, C, and D were used for treatment decisions. In essence, the medical records indicate that the extensive testing and lab work on patients A, B, C, and D were not ordered for any medical or clinical purpose, but were instead ordered in an attempt to drive up costs. Dr. Buttar provided therapies to patients A, B, and C that were unproven and wholly ineffective. The therapies consisted primarily of intravenous administration of a variety of substances, none of which has any known value for the treatment of cancer. The substances included EDTA, chromium, certain vitamins, and hydrogen peroxide.
Besides just being idiots and being liars, you've already compromised your integrity. How do you sleep at night?
Says the man who injected cancer patients with bleach. And the crazy thing here is, despite him being so bold about, yeah, sure, see if I can, go and check out my medical credentials, my medical record. Evidently, almost no one who watched his video did. Otherwise, might not have quite got such a high approval rating. I mean, it's just amazing. The people who go on most about how everyone else are just sheeple tend to be the most sheep-like of all.
Medical licensing boards, and every single doctor can easily be searched on the internet to find their credentials.
Dr. Buttar charged patient C over $32,000 for treatment he knew to be ineffectual. Immediately prior to his death, patient C sent a check to Dr. Buttar for partial payment in the amount of $6,700. Before Dr. Buttar could cash this check, patient C's widow cancelled the check because she felt that Dr. Buttar's treatments were useless, even though Dr. Buttar had promised her and her husband that his treatments had a 100% success rate.
Besides just being idiots and being liars, you've already compromised your integrity. How do you sleep at night?
After patient C's widow cancelled this $6,700 check, Dr. Buttar referred patient C's account to a collection agency. The amount that Dr. Buttar sought from patient A's widow exceeded $25,000, which included the unpaid portion of patient C's bill, interest, and a 25% collection fee. What an absolute despicable worm.
Sure, if you want to debate me, and I've already said, if you're a doctor, you can prove that you're a doctor, and you want to debate me publicly, I'll be happy to embarrass you publicly. No problem. Just voice it. No doctor has taken me on that has a counterpoint, will talk with me. They won't talk to me about vaccines. They won't talk to me about the face mask issue. They won't talk to me about anything.
Yeah, and I'm sure they won't debate you about how you can cure cancer with a 100% success rate by injecting bleach either. Odd how that works. I mean, maybe, just maybe, it's not that they fear your powerful intellect and that they might be humiliated by you.
I'll be happy to embarrass you publicly. No problem.
But they won't do it for the same reason that you don't get doctors debating people about the virtues of practicing leechcraft or bloodletting.
Remember, there's only a few thousand out there that are trying to control this narrative. And they're losing ground so fast and so bad, and that's the reason that they're trying to up this ante.
But talking about humiliating people publicly, you made one testable claim in your video.
And any person who challenges that, because there are doctors that are arguing with it, besides just being idiots and being liars, you've already compromised your integrity. How do you sleep at night? Okay, it just takes you don't have to be a doctor, it takes an average person, put on a freaking mask and put on an oximeter, pulse oximeter, and you'll see your own oxygen levels drop.
Awesome.
I've got some of those. So this is by far the cheaper of the two. This is just the little finger clip oxygen meter. You stick them on there and give it a few seconds. It'll pick up a pulse and it gives me an SP. That's like a capillary saturation. It's the oxygen saturation in your capillaries, which is 99%, which is not bad. If it gets below about 90, then you're going to start to worry. But we got two of these things, right? So let's see what number 2 does. This is also does ECG and such like, but. And a few seconds later, it tells me SP is 98%. Here I have an N95 mask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of these on, I'm going to start the clock, and we're going to see what this does to my saturated capillary blood oxygen, okay?
You're obviously becoming hypoxic from just not being able to get in fresh oxygen, but then you're also increasing your cortisol levels, and that drives you into the flight-fight response, which is a sympathetic mimetic overdrive.
Mask going on, starting the stopwatch, just to see what happens. So that's the sort of baseline. It's 98% and about an 88 pulse. The second guy. Still 98%. Okay, we'll do one last one for this, okay? Analyzing, still 98% on the capillary oxygen saturation. When is this mystical oxygen depletion meant to kick in? This is using the exact same method you said would show it almost immediately.
Okay, it just takes an average, you don't have to be a doctor, it just takes an average person, put on a freaking mask and put on an oximeter, pulse oximeter, and you'll see your own oxygen levels drop.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to call bullshit on you there. I mean, if it was so easy, just one little question. Why didn't you do it?
Whoa. You are so busted.
And this is, of course, glossing over the fact that his ideas don't stand up to even the most superficial of inspections.
You're also increasing your cortisol levels, and that drives you into the flight-fight response, which is a sympathetic mimetic overdrive.
Leading to the obvious question, if that's true, why did doctors wear them in operating theatres? You know, is it that operations go better when they have less levels of oxygen, or that they can perform their operations quicker if they're in a fight or flight response? Likewise, he doesn't seem to realise that the main reason that you wear a mask is the same reason that doctors wear them in operating theatres. You know, it's so you can spread stuff by coughing it out of your mouth. It's not so much about protecting the doctor, it's about protecting the patient. Likewise, if you're an asymptomatic carrier, you can cough out enough of the virus to infect everyone you meet without even knowing it.
If you believe that the face mask is going to save you and protect you, then what do you care whether I'm wearing a face mask or not?
However, if you're wearing a mask, you won't. But apparently, for this doctor, it's a personal freedom issue.
Be careful of who you're listening to. Challenge me, guys. Don't just take my word for it. If what I'm saying does not appeal to your intellect, if it doesn't resonate with you, hey, then go wear the face mask. I've never said anybody shouldn't wear the face mask if they don't want to wear the face mask. If you want to wear the face mask, all the power to you. Just don't expect me to wear it, and don't impose your idiocy on other people.
Don't impose your idiocy on other people, says the man who was pulled before a medical malpractice board for injecting cancer patients with bleach. But in the meanwhile, there's a very good reason why people wear face masks. Okay, so that's going to be today's video. Let's keep our fingers crossed that YouTube's deletion spree of my videos here stops. I'm going to guess not. So far they've deleted 2 of my videos. Kind of difficult to see why they should change now. Although interestingly, there are copies of my original video now circulating on YouTube. Which kind of means that YouTube only really has an interest in flagging these things down if they're on the Thunderfoot channel. So if you want to support this channel, you can do it via Patreon, although it's done per video, which means that it only works if this video actually stays up. And if you fancy playing to see if masks deplete your blood oxygen level or not, you can get links to the blood oxygen meters in my Amazon store below. Hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss out on great uploads like this. And of course, thanks for watching.